Good night, gentle peeps. This is Kurrency Meech. We're back with another little video. And we're going to be breaking down US 30. But before I go over the charts, I like to go over the fundamentals that we can expect for this week. So we have JOLT's job opening on Tuesday, right? Wait, let me see something. This week. Okay. I know I did something wrong. Sorry about that. So tomorrow we have ISM manufacturing PMI. That's a red folder. I'm only focusing on the red folders, okay? And we have on Wednesday non-farm employment changes. We have ISM service. We have unemployment claims. We also have core PCE price index prelims on Friday. So that's the major news news that we should focus on for this week. These are all the red folders that will affect the volume or affect the markets in a certain way. So now, boom, US 30. So the month has come to an end, right? So as you can see, we have a brand new monthly candlestick being presented on the monthly time frame. As you can see, 30 days and 21 hours. So we have a fresh monthly candlestick. Now, last month closed as a doji. Let me zoom up on that. So when it comes on to candlestick candlestick analysis, we're seeing a doji candlestick. What is this telling us? This is telling us that although we had a lot of movements during the month, we didn't have a clear sign of the direction, right? So we weren't bullish. We were right here. So let me just mark off that high, and we have a low point right here. Let me adjust this. So we have a high point right there, and we have a low point. So basically, that is the range that the market has been in for the past month, right? Now, daily time frame, we are seeing that area. So we have a higher high point, a higher low point. So what I'm expecting for this month is for the market to continue on that bullish push to break above this previous high point that was created on the daily time frame and creating a new all-time high, also creating a higher high point within market structure, right? So as we can see, this push has already begun. The market has already established this area as a higher low area support. We already started that push. So as I said before, I'm just expecting for the market to continue that push and create that new higher high point based off daily time frame structure. So if I should, let's say, plot myself a fib, I'd probably plot myself a fib from point A to point B right here. So let me mark that off for you guys. So point A right there, point B right here, right? Market created ourselves a point C, boom, a point C right here. And you know that we normally target our negative 27% and our negative 61.8% as our take profit areas. So first take profit can be back at this 0%. That's at our point B. Or second TP, is at that negative 27%, and our third and final TP will be at that negative 61.8%. Now, what we can also do is apply ourselves or institutional or psychological levels, which are our whole numbers in price. So, for example, let's say 49,000, right? Let me put in that 49,000. That's a institutional area. That's a whole number price, highly respects the institutional areas. So seeing that it is very close to my negative 27, sometimes I'll like to target these areas instead of the entire negative 27. As I can show you here, we have a 48,000 area here that was respected prior. So let me put the 48,000. As you can see, the market respected it very, 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 very cleanly. We zoom down to a lower time frame. As you can see, boom, the market came, tapped it, pushed back down, and came and gave you like that double top type market structure pattern, and then started to sell before visiting back that area of resistance. So these institutional areas, as I said before, are very, very, very respectful. The market likes to respect these areas, and you can expect potential moves from these areas of resistance. Now, breaking down this push, and what we're expecting for this week is basically we can see the market creating higher low points here, breaking areas of resistance here. Let me draw that better. Breaking areas of resistance here, right? Creating higher low points, higher high points, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. So I just want to see the market continuing on that bullish type structure. Now, when it comes on to a valid area structure, seeing that the pushers are already started, we haven't established a valid area structure based off these lower time frames. As you can see, we have just this one push. You get me? But breaking this down on the higher time frames, as I said, the market already started the push. So I'm not looking for a reversal. Only way I can potentially say, okay, we might sell is if I get a engulfing candlestick here. If this candlestick ends up engulfing this daily candlestick that was created on Friday, and I'm seeing confluences on my so we have to just make sure that we are at our charts whenever the moves is presented. So have a blessed trading week, and I'll hand it over to Terro Trades. And let me stop sharing my screen.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. All right, guys. Terror Trades here. So in this section, this segment, I'll go ahead and break down XAU USD, aka gold, right? And
Recording stopped.
as I usually do it each week, is I'd start from the higher time frame and then drop down to lower time frames, right? So basically now we're on the 5 minute time frame. So let's go up where we can see a bit more data. So we'll start from the monthly. which is basically the highest possible chart analysis time frame in which I use. So looking at the monthly, we're now, today is the, just double check, today is the 30th day in the month. It's closing out doji. Let me zoom in a bit so that we can see more. So it's currently closing out doji, indicating indecision. However, give me 1 second. Okay. So, however, based on this right here, this, it is doji, but we do have a bit of bullish pressure, right? That can be seen. Majority of the candle is from the downside. So it's looking like something like this is what we're seeing right now, even though it's a doji. Let me just try it bigger so that we can do that. Yeah. So this is what we're looking at right now. And as we can see, it's progressively showing more and more green as the day goes on. So that's what we're seeing right now, indicating retracement, right, throughout the month. And then we continued to the upside, right, which is where we're pushing right now. So if you guys notice, we have this big wick right here, this big wick, that this is all-time highs. All right, let me just change the color of this. This is the all-time highs candle. If we break here, then we're back. Well, we're not currently in the all-time highs area, I'd say, because it's, I'd say, less than 2,000 pips to that area. But we're currently pushing towards the all-time highs, the exact number, right? Which is around 4,381, right? So that is how we're looking on the monthly time frame. Let's drop down to the weekly time frame. As we can see on the weekly time frame, I did say if the candle closed bearish, right, for last week, if you can notice, this is a big bullish candle right here. So if it closed bearish, then I'd want to see, what I said last week is I'd want to see it close below this area to say, hey, we're getting a steeper retracement than expected. But it only came down to this level, right, where it bought up, which is pretty good for us, right? Because I'd rather trade gold when it's buying than when it's selling, funny enough. But yeah, on the weekly time frame, we can notice market creating higher highs, higher lows, right? This was the area in which the strong level of support is where it retested last week to continue the push to the upside, right? That's where it closed and then open. No, wait, this right here is the area. Right on the 4,050 institutional level is where it retested before continuing to the upside. But let's get a bit more data. Let's drop down to the daily time frame. So what we're seeing right now, again, it's confirming it, higher highs and higher lows. As soon as this double bottom formed, we knew from then and there that we will be getting bullish pressure, right? As soon as the market broke above this level, right? Indicating, because if it had done this when it was at this level, right? After it created a double bottom, it did that from there, or even this, then, as I said, then it would be strong bearish, but we're expecting strong bulls, right? And not to mention how the Friday candle, this candle is on Friday, how the Friday candle closed, right? Not much wick from either side, right? But it's a strong bullish candle nonetheless. Market did open, give us a wick down, right? At this level, basically at this level of resistance before continue pushing up right now. So let's go on a lower time frame to see if we can see anything. But what I'm waiting on basically, right? Let's see if we can plot a fib on the 1 hour time frame. All right. So we have the most recent level of support right there to the most recent resistance. We are getting a bit of exhaustion right there. We have a level that can be drawn, right here, in which the market had tested already. And we also have one right here, right? These are the areas, if I'm supposed to take a buy, I'm expecting the market to go back and retest. Well, that is after the hourly close like this with the wick exhaustion. It might not. We're not sure as yet. Let's drop down to see if we can see anything better on the lower time frame. Again, we're still creating, let's go on a lower time frame. We're still creating higher highs and higher lows, right? Might have tested the area, right? Being that we have a doji in the middle, indicating indecision, right? So let's see what happens in the next 10 minutes. That is right. So if it breaks above, what we can expect is for it to tap maybe the institutional level. So maybe we get something like this, right? But this is still the most major swing on the 1 hour time frame. This is still the most recent swing on the 1 hour time frame. So yeah, but let me see. Drop lower. So yeah, right now it's just the waiting game. What I'd love to see the market do is go ahead and retest this level of support right here, which would be at 23.6, which is kind of shaky. I'd prefer it from this area. Not really much, but I'm expecting that from that, targeting the next major institutional level. But let's see, because right now I think it will break it, being that we're seeing a lot of exhaustion, right? Can the transitioning to the upside, basically. But let's see. So for gold, basically buys for the entirety of this week. See, it eventually did it. So buys for the entirety of this week. But again, I'm expecting it to break past this level tonight for us to get an entry, right? But I'm currently waiting on another higher low point for me to enter the market, basically. But yeah, that's it for me. Pretty simple, small breakdown because there's not much really right now to do, but just to wait and watch the reaction. We don't want to force anything, right? But as I said, this level right here, market is currently breaking it. So all we can do right now is just wait on the next higher low point for a trade. But yeah, that's it from me. Um, Thanks again for coming, everyone. And do enjoy the rest of your week. I hope you guys make some money this week. And, have a blessed week. That's it. Tune in next week again around the same time, 8 a.m. EST, 8:30 p.m.